Hey everybody, welcome to my top 10. I wrote most hated Quebec-born players that weren't Habs. I don't know that I hate some of these guys. Some of them I do. But I don't like them. And I was surprised. I thought, because I've been doing top 15, and I couldn't find 15 that I didn't like. And there's a couple in here. They're sort of stretches, but I mean, there were points in their careers where I didn't like them. So that being said, that's all right here from Talkin' Habs, the home of Habs hockey, where everything is dedicated to the Habs and all things hockey. So let's get right into it. So, like I said, there's a couple that they're minor stretches, and this is the first one is one of those. You're gonna laugh, or you're gonna go, "What?" Mario Lemieux. Now, do I like Mario Lemieux right now? I do. Did I respect him when he came back and saved his team and all that stuff? I do. What I didn't like about Mario Lemieux is this. When he was drafted by Pittsburgh, he didn't stand up. He wouldn't go put the shirt on. I didn't like that. I thought it was very disrespectful. I kind of held that against him for the first bit of his career. Even though he was putting up the points, a great player and all that, and you didn't hear anything really controversial about him, and he turned into a really good just he became a man, I guess, and he manned up, and he became he changed my attitude towards him, but I needed players, so I put him up here. There was a point where I didn't really like Mario Lemieux. Now, his career, 915 games, 690 goals, 1,033 assists, 1,723 points. I mean, how could you not respect that in the end? But at the beginning, I didn't like it because mostly that. Number 9, Marty Brodeur. Now, why do I have Marty Brodeur on this list? Do I really dislike him? No, not as a person. As a player. Why? Because my favorite goalie of all time is Patrick Roy. Biggest rivals as far as at the time, numbers and all that kind of stuff. So it was one of the, at the time, it would be a comparison for me. Roy was like a god. Brodeur was like the pretender, so I didn't like him. I guess that's it. Next up, played for Boston, played for a few teams, but I remember him mostly from Boston, and now he's the commentator for Sportsnet, which I don't like Sportsnet either. And on Twitter, this guy takes a beating on Twitter. It's Gary Galley. Gary Galley, 1,149 games played, 125 goals, 475 assists for 600 points. He was a decent hockey player. I just didn't like him. Didn't like what he had to say. Didn't like that he played for the Bruins. Just didn't like him. And now, as a commentator for Sportsnet, not my favorite. That's for sure. I don't like Sportsnet, especially the commentators. Next up, might be another surprise for Tampa Bay Lightning. Vinny, my cousin Vinny. Vinny Lecavalier. Vinny Lecavalier. Why don't I like Vinny Lecavalier? When he had the opportunity, I think on a couple of occasions, to come to Montreal, Quebec-born player from Ile Bizarre, would have loved to have him at that time be here. He wouldn't come to Quebec. He didn't want to take the pressure. He just didn't want to come here. And I don't like him because of that. How do you like that? That's my reasoning. Next up, number 6, a Pittsburgh Penguin currently. Kris Letang from Montreal, so I should like him because it's from Montreal. I never really liked Letang. I think he used to do a couple of dirty things. Also, he always played good against Montreal and scored and all that, so I didn't like Kris Letang. There you go. That's number 6. Number 5, Kevin Dineen. Kevin Dineen. Good hockey player. Kind of a hard-nosed guy. Played for Hartford for many years. Used to get into scraps at Montreal. Just in general, didn't like the guy. But gotta respect, good hockey player, was a decent coach when he started coaching. 1,188 games played, 355 goals, 405 assists for 760 points. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Why I didn't like him. Next up, former Toronto Maple Leaf, which is enough right there. Ian Turnbull. I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember Ian Turnbull. Biggest thing I remember about Ian Turnbull, I think it was in 1974, so I was like 11. They're playing in the playoffs, and he's taking a face-off. And I don't know who he was doing this to, but he looks up, and it's like right into the camera, and he says, "You," to one of the players. And I'll never forget that because it's right there on live TV. I'm 11 years old or something on CBC. It's like, but I don't know. He was a Maple Leaf. Didn't like him. Next up, he was a Philadelphia Flyer. I really didn't like this guy. Andre Moose Dupont. Part of the Broad Street Bullies. Idiot on the ice. Didn't like him. 810 games, 59 goals, 185 assists for 244 points. I believe he was a defenseman, but I could be wrong on that. Just did not like Moose Dupont. Nope. Next up, a long time, Boston Bruin. Always seemed to be in the mix of things when we were in the playoffs against the Bruins. And if I'm correct, scored a few very untimely goals, in my opinion, in the playoffs. Steve Kasper. I never liked Steve Kasper. I don't really have any particular incident. Just one of those guys I just didn't really like. His name was Kasper, so I always remembered it. Kasper the Friendly Ghost. He played for Boston. Didn't like him. If that's reasoning or it's not, I don't know, but that's my reasoning. 821 games. 177 goals, 291 assists for 468 points, which is pretty decent numbers. And that leaves us with number one. Number one is a guy that was recently featured in the video I did, the Good Friday Massacre. With one punch, he knocked one guy out of his career. And I've never liked him since. Plus, he played for Quebec Nordiques, so that didn't help. And that's Louis Schlager. Louis Schlager, not that talented of a guy. 194 games played in his career, 46 goals, 53 assists, 99 points, couldn't even put up 100. Yeah, I just don't like him for that punch. It was a sucker punch on Jean Hamel, who was against the boards, thought everything was calming down with him and Schlager, and just threw a sucker punch at him, caught him in the eye. This one almost took his eye out, literally. Almost lost his eye, and his career was done. And ever since then, didn't like this guy. And the surprising part was that when I went through the list, I didn't think I'd even find 10. And I managed to find 10 with a little bit of a stretch, but that was a surprise that there weren't more French-Canadian players or Quebec-born players that I didn't like over the years. So there you go. That's my list. Let me know who you would put on the list or who you would take off this list. And, yeah, in the comment section, let me know that. And while you're on the way down there, thumbs up if you like the video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell, and that's going to get you your daily fix of Blue, Blanc, Rouge right here at Talking Habs. So please, everybody, stay safe. Wash your hands a lot. Wear a mask when you go out. I've got some videos on how to make masks. Check them out. And, yeah, stay safe and peace out, everybody. Thanks for watching.